suffocated her using the pillow to stop her from screaming. They found Riley Crossman 8 days after she disappeared.
Welcome to CSL TV. I just hope you guys are having a beautiful, blessed day. Now, if you're new to the channel, this is just a review, a reaction, as well as an informational channel. Hopefully the informational part help you and someone out, and we just gonna watch some videos and talk about them. And if you've been rocking with your boy, I just gotta say thank you so much, because I appreciate you for watching these videos and rocking with me and commenting and let me know what you feel about them, how you like about them, and if there's something going on in the world, you talk about it. So I just hope everybody is having a beautiful, blessed day, and I don't want to make this too long, so let's get it.
This 16-year-old is dead after a fight broke out over sauce outside of a McDonald's in DC on Sunday. The teen was at the fast food chain with a group of friends and got into a fight with another 16-year-old girl over sweet and sour sauce. The other girl then stabbed her twice. When cops arrived around 2 a.m., she was rushed to the hospital where she later died. The suspect was arrested and charged with second-degree murder, and according to the police report, had a knife on her when cops detained her. Her attorney says she acted in self-defense. DC has been working on rolling out a new way to enforce a curfew for kids 16 and younger. On weekdays from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m., kids will be expected to stay off the streets. And cops will be patrolling, hoping to prevent more deaths like this.
Suffocated her using the pillow to stop her from screaming. They found Riley Crossman 8 days after she disappeared. She was severely decomposed and had been tossed over an embankment. Riley was born on December 22nd, 2003, and as a teen was a dancer, a singer, an artist. She was everything you'd want your teenage daughter to be. She was dating a classmate of hers, a guy named Hayden, and he was well liked by Riley's family also. So that takes us to May 8th, 2009. A 911 call was made to the Morgan County Police Department Sheriff's Office to say that Riley Crossman was missing. Her bedroom empty, she hadn't been at school, none of her friends knew where she was, and her phone wasn't ringing out. And as they kind of rooted through the detritus of a teenager's bedroom, they began to notice, kind of like you don't really want to see, spots on the comforter, on the blanket, on the pillow. But what was even weirder than all of this, Chantel told police that when she'd been in this bedroom previously, the bedroom was different now.
I don't remember them being there. I feel like I would have noticed her book bag still being there, and especially her glasses.
Now that's crazy. It seemed like maybe she came back. Who knows? But from the beginning of all this situation, it don't sound good.
Someone had been in Riley's room since Chantel first went in and noticed she wasn't there. Riley lived with her mother, Chantel, her 2 younger brothers, and her mother's new boyfriend, Andy McCauley.
Did she leave in the morning? No, I got 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work.
He indeed had gone to work that morning, but he hadn't been there the entire day. He had been absent from his construction job for about 4 to 5 hours during the day, and no one knew where he'd gone off to. The police then dragged him back in, and Andy revealed he had a bit of a love for the old. That was his excuse, for lying.
I don't care about what kind of you're using. Okay, we care about Riley. Yeah. Okay, that's what where'd you get it from? I can't tell you that. What's more important than Riley? Where'd you get the from?
So you're saying, yeah, I lied, but it's nothing, that serious, really. But he didn't have his phone with him, so his movements of where he had actually gone that day were totally unaccounted for. What the police instead would do would try and find as much CCTV as they possibly could to track that truck. There was a massive search going on throughout this time. Name the organization, they were there. Helicopters, over 300 volunteers. The school itself turned out for this. 2 days before all of this, that is when Riley Crossman was last seen. Chantel, Riley's mother, she was struggling really to make ends meet. She worked 2 jobs, and so she would work a job in the morning, come home, rest, and then go and work her second job that evening. And when Riley came home from school, Riley would wake her up saying, okay, time to start getting ready. She thanked Riley for waking her up, headed off to work that evening. And so then later on that same day, Chantel came home. She entered the door of her house.
So my question is, where is the dad at in this whole scenario? We heard about the boyfriend, but where the dad at? Have anybody talked to the father?
Over her house, she saw Andy chilling there on the couch. She went upstairs. Riley's bedroom door was closed, thinking maybe she was getting an early night. It's around 10 p.m. So Chantel herself went to bed. The next morning, Chantel got up. She saw Riley's bedroom door was closed. Riley was not in her bed at that stage. She couldn't get through to her daughter at all that day. She called Lance, her divorced husband, Riley's father. He couldn't himself get through to Riley at all. And so things then became real weird when at After 3 p.m., Chantel was alerted by the school that Riley Crossman had been a no-show that day. She hadn't gone to school at all.
I need this timeline. I need it because we're all trying to figure out the timeline. We're trying to figure it out. None of us firmly believe it's you, but until the police believe it's not you, they won't look anywhere. I have 1,000 text messages. Lance has 1,000 text messages. She has 1,000 text messages of all these other things, and they won't look at them because they only think of you.
The night Riley was last seen, she was in her room texting her friends. She was texting till after 11 p.m. that night, the 7th of May. Then she stopped, you can presume, went to sleep. Though then, at 5:40 a.m., she tried to call her boyfriend Hayden over FaceTime. Really weird time for her to be calling. Now, Hayden, he was fast asleep. He didn't answer. He didn't even realize, he had missed the call. But this is like 2 hours before she would have to be up for school. Why would she try call? It would probably mean it was an emergency. Then Hayden also saw the next day, and this is quite messed up. She had texted him at around after 11 p.m. saying to Hayden, Andy was in her room. She then texted at 11:13 p.m, I'm scared. And that was it till he missed a FaceTime call after 5 a.m. the next morning.
So her boyfriend got something to do with her disappearance, and you know what I'm saying? The question is, what happened to her? Where's she at? All this type of stuff. Now, I haven't really watched this, so I'm honestly just watching it as y'all watching. But this shit is crazy.
Next morning.
What if I told you her last text to her boyfriend? We're saying don't talk because she still has to FaceTime when Andy's in here. I'm afraid. That's what it said. What if I told you that? Honestly, that's crazy.
In her room, on her pillow, was mixed with saliva, and it was confirmed to be Riley's. From the pattern on the pillow, she appeared to have been from her mouth and nose, and her face had probably been held against the pillow. She says he was in her room and she was scared. Then he mysteriously disappears during the day. The very next day, he's lying like a rug. And a cadaver dog was brought in to give Andy's truck, the work truck he had borrowed that day, a good old sniff. The dog said no doubt there had been a body in there. Every single sign was pointing at Andy McCauley. But where was Riley? They simply aimed the cameras at where he'd been going, following the trail as he drove into more and more remote West Virginia countryside. And following this whole visual trail he left, they found Riley Crossman 8 days after she disappeared. She was severely decomposed and had been tossed over an embankment. It was dental records which told them it was her. A cause of death was undetermined. She had no on and her underwear was ripped. Andy McCauley was arrested and charged with the murder of Riley Crossman. And Andy would plead not guilty. So I guess we will kind of like never really know, but what likely happened is that he went into her room that night, they spoke, she got scared, she was texting this to Hayden. Then maybe he came back in then a couple of hours later at like 5 a.m. And this time she awoke, she turned on her FaceTime to try and, so that Hayden could listen into what was happening. After all, Hayden only lived a half a mile away, but Hayden didn't answer, and then yeah, he'd been in there, the motive, most likely, and he had suffocated her, probably using the pillow to stop her from screaming. Then he hid her body in her bedroom until after Chantel had left that morning, until the house was empty. He went to work in the morning, and he always got a ride to work. Then, at work, he borrowed a truck, drove back to the house, retrieved the body of Riley, and then drove out into rural West Virginia. He did it pretty brazenly. Chantel would have been around this entire time. He didn't seem to give a about his girlfriend somehow hearing about what he was doing to her daughter. When Chantel arrived home, she said Andy was sitting on the couch. So he waited till she got home, then he went in. Maybe it hadn't been the first time he went into Riley's room. A Riley who was just super excited to be getting braces. Andy over here, he had a bit of a history with the old crime-arinos. In 2011, he was charged with burglary and destruction of property. In 2013, he was charged with delivering, and then in 2017, he stole a car. And then in 2019, this sack of he stole a life. Andy McCauley went on trial in the autumn of 2021. He pleaded not guilty. At the end of the trial, the jury found him guilty, and the judge sentenced him to 2 life sentences without the possibility of parole. I guess, the lesson to learn here is just be careful who you let into your life. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here, watching this old video, very tragic and disturbing one. Always make sure to look after yourself, because I love you. Mike out.
And you know what I'm saying? If you go from 10 a.m. to 3 and the school telling you your kid ain't there, you should have been like, hey, early in the morning, where the fuck you at? I'm sorry, every morning you in the house, you need to check on your kid every morning and every night before you go to sleep. Every morning I woke up, I checked on them at 11 p.m. They was there. I got up at 7:30. They wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Bam. So y'all, some of these parents, a lot of these parents need to be better. And it's sad that some people can't have kids and they're very fit and great parents, whereas in the ones who do have kids that are not great parents, you know. Yeah, you just gotta be careful. And that's crazy. She, a 15-year-old, lost her life because of a crazy fucking boyfriend who had a history of doing dumb stuff. To be that damn old and then you do this to this young girl, you know, I don't want to say, but y'all heard and seen everything I just saw. So it's just crazy, you know, all these people that we live with, we never know their true intentions or what's on their agenda. He acted like it was all good. Like maybe if she should have been more on it, maybe she should have, I don't know, man, that's just sad.